7 world-class award-winning plugins used by countless professional engineers in post, broadcast, music, and even live sound. Join the elite who own Sonox Elite, because you're worth it.
Wait, what? Because you're worth it.
Cut!
Hi, this is Matt Houghton for Sound on Sound. I'm at the Winter Namm show in Anaheim, California in January 2013. I'm here in the Harman booth. We've got Mark Gardner here, who's from JBL, who do speakers for Harman. And we've got a huge new monitor speaker here, the M2, which is, I guess, a mastering reference monitor, is it?
Absolutely.
Do you want to take us through what's behind the design?
Certainly. So for a long time, JBL has had bookshelf studio monitors,
Yeah.
but back in the 70s and 80s, we had large-scale monitors, 2, 3, 4, and way systems for very, very large output. In the modern world, people use our screen array cinema systems behind the screen for post-production and for video and film, and the small LSR bookshelf monitors for project recording.
Yeah.
And we feel there's a need to get back into the large studio monitor business, which will bridge the gap between those giant screen array speakers behind the screen and the small LSR monitors.
So tell us what you need to do to produce a speaker for that market. What's different then?
Well, JBL has always been about the transducers, the actual engines, the woofers and the compression drivers, the tweeters that are the heart of the system. We've developed a brand new concept in the compression driver. It actually uses 2 diaphragms, and the diaphragms are annuluses, just the outside. They're not a dome in the center. There's no dome in the center. And there's 2 of those annular diaphragms and voice coils put together with a very complex patented phase plug arrangement. So with 2 voice coils and 2 diaphragms, we get very, very high power handling, but without the dome center part, using 2 diaphragms, we have as much surface area as a traditional dome, but it doesn't go into those breakup modes. So we have very high power handling, very extended response. It's not a metal diaphragm of aluminum or titanium or beryllium. It's actually made of a high polymer material. So we get extended response out to 40 kilohertz, very low distortion, no harmonics, and we get the high power handling from the 2 coils. So we mated that compression driver concept with a brand new waveguide concept. You can see the complex.
I see it. So it's a curious looking thing there, isn't it?
Right. Well,
what's behind the curves?
There's a lot of math that goes on to figure out how do we get the sound out of the compression driver, have it flare very fast to be very low in distortion, but also to cover the room very, very broadly.
So to widen the sweet spot.
Well, we want more than a sweet spot. We don't want just the one guy dead center between the stereo speakers to get that phantom center image. We want everybody across the console, and with this topology and this shape of horn, we get a very, very broad stereo spread, but also we get that depth perception from the sound coming out of the compression driver. And we've mated that with a woofer that uses our differential drive concept. We have 2 voice coils and 2 magnets on the woofer, just like on the compression driver, but we've used a unique patented method of wire. We use a wire that's called low TCR, low thermal coefficient of resistance. So when all that power goes into the woofer, instead of it heating up, it stays very linear. So we have very, very linear dynamics, goes down to 20 hertz with the woofer, out to 40 kilohertz with the compression driver, integrated, so it's a very broad spectrum across the angular coverage in the room. So we have a monitor that we think is quite revolutionary in terms of its sound and what it delivers to the mixer, whether he's doing music, video, or project studio recording.
It's quite a size. I mean, is it intended to stand on the floor, or is it
stand on the floor? It can stand up behind the console on the stand, or it can be mounted in the soffit. You can see we talk about it being freestanding. We also talk about it being in the soffit. There you can see the graphic for mounted in the wall. So we put the ports on the front to make sure it would.
So it's a good traditional big studio speaker, but with a little twist of
modern
the latest
mathematics. In materials, the latest in transducer technology, and we think the latest in sound quality.
Well, it's obviously a big studio monitor. Is it a big studio price, or what sort of?
The U.S. retail price is $6,000 per loudspeaker, so $12,000 a pair. and we recommend it with our iTech HD Crown amplifier that has a very sophisticated DSP front end in the amplifiers that allows for FIR filter tunings to do the crossovers, and also has sufficient processing that you can actually do any of the room tuning that's necessary if your room has some room mods that need to be suppressed or controlled.
Okay, and is it available now, or do we have to wait?
I'll be shipping in March.
In March, okay. Yep. Thanks very much, Matt.
Absolutely, my pleasure.